Dr. Marcus Kane knelt beside the massive form sprawled across the metallic floor of the medical bay. The creature before him defied every classification in his xenobiology textbooks. Standing nearly 12 feet tall when upright, the being possessed scales that shimmered between deep emerald and burnished gold, wings that could span 30 feet, and eyes that held an intelligence far beyond any animal he had ever treated. The locals called it a dragon. Kane had arrived on Colony 7-3 months ago as part of the Terran Veterinary Corps, expecting to treat standard livestock and perhaps some exotic fauna. He never imagined he would be caring for sentient beings that the galaxy had dismissed as myths. The dragons of Kepler 442b were dying, and nobody knew why. This particular dragon, whom the colonists had named Rex, lay breathing in shallow, labored gasps. His once magnificent scales had dulled to a sickly gray, and the fire that should have flickered behind his nostrils had long since extinguished. Kane had run every test available with his portable equipment, but the results made no sense. According to standard biology. "Easy there, big guy," Kane whispered, running his hand along the creature's massive neck. The skin felt papery and cold beneath his palm. "We're going to figure this out." Rex's great head turned slightly, one golden eye focusing on the human with what Kane could only describe as gratitude. The dragon's condition had deteriorated rapidly over the past week, and Kane knew they were running out of time. The veterinarian prepared the final dose of experimental medicine he had synthesized from local plant compounds. It was a desperate measure, combining Earth medical knowledge with indigenous flora that the dragons seemed drawn to in the wild. If this didn't work, he would have to recommend euthanasia to end Rex's suffering. As Kane loaded the injection device, Rex did something unexpected. The dragon's massive foreleg lifted slowly, trembling with effort, and wrapped around Kane's torso in what could only be described as an embrace. The gesture was gentle despite the creature's size, and Kane felt the dragon's remaining warmth seep through his environmental suit. "You understand, don't you?" Kane said softly. "You know what this might mean." Rex's head moved in what resembled a nod, and Kane felt his throat tighten. In 3 decades of veterinary practice, he had never encountered anything like this level of emotional intelligence in a patient. The dragon wasn't just accepting treatment. He was offering comfort to his doctor. Kane raised the injection device, positioning it over the major blood vessel he had located in Rex's neck. The medicine represented months of research and synthesis, his best attempt at creating something that might reverse the mysterious cellular breakdown affecting the dragon population. Just as Kane pressed the device against Rex's scales, his hand froze. The scanner attached to his belt began emitting a rapid series of beeps, indicating it had detected something significant. Kane glanced at the display and felt his blood run cold. The readings showed massive energy signatures approaching the colony from orbit signatures that matched no known Terran vessel. Through the medical bay's transparent aluminum windows, Kane could see lights beginning to appear in the darkening sky. Not the steady glow of approaching shuttles, but the pulsing illumination of weapons charging. "Computer, analyze approaching signatures," Kane commanded. "Analysis complete," the AI responded in its neutral tone. 17 vessels of unknown. Configuration detected. Energy output suggests heavy armament. Estimated time to weapons range, 4 minutes. Kane looked down at Rex, whose great eye was fixed on the lights growing brighter overhead. The dragon made a sound deep in his throat, something between a growl and a whimper. "They're coming for you, aren't they?" Kane realized, this illness, it's not natural. Someone has been poisoning your people. Rex's grip around Kane tightened slightly, and the dragon's head moved in another unmistakable nod. Connie's mind raced as pieces of a horrific puzzle fell into place. The dragons weren't just intelligent. They were the original inhabitants of this world. The mysterious illness had appeared shortly after mining operations began in the northern continent. The same mining operations that had been declared off-limits to colonial medical personnel. "Computer, scan Rex for heavy metal contamination," Kane ordered. "Scan complete. Subject shows extreme levels of synthetic neurotoxins consistent with industrial mining runoff. Estimated exposure duration, 6 months. Kane felt rage build in his chest. Someone had been systematically poisoning the dragons, and now what appeared to be the perpetrators were arriving to finish the job. The approaching vessels weren't here to help. They were here to eliminate the evidence. "Warning! Colonial defense systems are offline," the computer announced. "Recommend immediate evacuation." Kane looked at the injection device in his hand, then at Rex's trusting face. The medicine he had created wouldn't cure heavy metal poisoning, but he had something else in his emergency kit. Chelation therapy, a treatment for removing toxic metals from biological systems. "I'm not leaving you," Kane told the dragoness. He quickly prepared a different injection. "And I'm not letting them finish what they started." Rex's eye widened as if understanding, and the dragon's embrace tightened protectively around the human. Kane administered the chelation compound just as the first energy beams lit up the night sky above the colony. Whatever was happening here, whoever was responsible for slowly murdering an entire species, they had made a critical error. They had underestimated human stubbornness. As explosions began to rock the colony around them, Kane held onto Rex and activated his emergency beacon. If they survived the next few hours, he would make sure the galaxy learned what had really happened on Kepler-442b. The dragon's grip around him remained steady and protective. And Kane realized that Rex wasn't just accepting help, he was offering an alliance. Human medicine and dragon resilience against whoever sought to destroy them both. The lights outside grew brighter as the attacking vessels descended, but Kane no longer felt afraid. He had found something worth fighting for, and apparently so had Rex. Whatever came next, they would face it together.